Hello, everybody. My name is Kody Keffer, and this is Cool Cody's Indoor Skate Park. So, a little bit of self introduction to start out. As I said, my name's Kody Keffer. I am 22 years old, which I actually just turned 22 a couple of days ago. And I've lived here in the Ohio River Valley area for about 13 years out of my 22 years. And skateboarding is among one of my many hobbies. And the community around here in the Ohio River Valley area has always meant a lot to me, as I've participated in various community service activities as a member of organizations such as the National Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society, and Skills USA West Virginia on both the local and state level. Now, what is Cool Cody's? As I said when we first started, it is an indoor skate park, and it will be West Virginia's one and only indoor skate park. So, who would my target audience be? The park would be open to all ages, and anyone under 18 would require permission from a parent or guardian for obvious reasons, injuries and such. And the skate park market, as the only indoor skate park in the Ohio River Valley area, Cool Cody's will set the market, so to speak. There wouldn't be any competitors, really. Now, in terms of legalities, since I just touched on injuries a second ago, Cool Cody's will act as a limited liability company, and customers will be required to sign waiver forms whenever they become members of the skate park, similar to how Sky Zone does their business with the trampoline parks. Basically, what these waivers would entail is that Cool Cody's wouldn't be responsible for any accidental injuries caused by not following the rules, like not wearing proper padding, for example, or helmets. Both of those two things would most certainly be required, especially with kids and everything. And yeah, on the right here, we just simply have a little makeshift logo featuring my aviator glasses from my introduction picture. What can I say? I've always liked my aviators. Now, what is the industry like? What is the skating industry like? Well, the skateboard industry here in the Ohio River Valley area really only consists of stores that sell skating equipment, like Zoomies, and there are a very small handful of outdoor free to visit skate parks that already exist. These are really not all that big. They only really consist of a couple of ramps, and they're really just made out of concrete. Don't really have anything. Ooh, hiccups. Sorry about that. But really don't have anything extraordinary about them per se. Sorry about that, folks. Don't know what came over me with those hiccups there. Had to get a little bit of water. As I was saying, though, the skateboard industry around here really only consists of skating stores like Zoomies that sell skateboards and skating parts, and the outdoor skating parks. I think the only ones I could really think of off the top of my head would be there is the Charleston Skating Park, there is the Barbersville Skating Park, there's the Huntington Skating Park, and I believe there's also one in South Point, Ohio. But that is about a 60-mile radius, I just said. There's only 4 outdoor skate parks that are kind of spaced apart, which makes it very, very difficult commuting. I can speak from experience being a skater myself. And what problem is being solved by Cool Cody's? Well, aside from the fact that we don't have any indoor skate parks around here, the other problem being solved is the lack of overall activities for all ages in this area. I think the ever growing rates of depression, anxiety, and drug use in the area suggest a much needed demand for more fun and hobbies among all ages. Doesn't matter if you're 12, doesn't matter if you're 60. Well, you might break a hip if you try to skate if you're 60, but you get the point. And what makes Cool Cody's stand out, aside from being an indoor skate park? Cool Cody's will also serve as a to go style restaurant to both provide concessions to the skaters and also be able to serve to non-skaters in the area that just want to stop by and check the place out, maybe grab a quick bite to eat, which would also give us a good foothold in the market of the demographic who aren't skaters, which would certainly be the majority in the area. Where would Cool Cody's be located? The property 3419 US Route 60 East in Barbersville, which is right by the Huntington Mall. It is a 8,000 square foot property listed for sale that currently holds the Tortilla Factory restaurant. Now, between the 8,000 square feet, the location being a part of the Huntington Mall area, and amenities like the kitchen and bathrooms already being built in, this location is perfect. Not only would it make it to where renovation costs are much, much less, and not only would it prevent us from having to build a completely, entirely new building from the ground up, but skate parks are typically between 8,000 and 12,000 square feet, unless they are like extremely massive in a big city like New York, which obviously this part of West Virginia isn't. So 8,000 square feet is perfect size. And how will the business profit? Well, as I said, the restaurant would serve concessions to the skaters and carry out orders to non skaters. The skaters themselves, however, will have multiple options to pay to skate. There will be a 2 hour same day pass for $15. There would be a 10-hour same week pass for $30, which basically means somebody pays the $30 and they have the option to say skate 2 hours every day, 5 days out of that week to just get a feel for it. There's a monthly membership, which is good for 8 hours a week, which would cost $50 a month. And then there'd be a couple membership, which is also good for 8 hours a week per person, and that'd be $75 a month. Mainly just to give a special discount to not only couples, but maybe like maybe somebody and their best friend who like to skate together. Basically, the second person would get a whopping 50% off, which I think would really incentivize not only the skating itself, but also more socializing and stuff. I would also be hoping to offer after school programs for $20 a week, which would basically just mean the parents come in and drop their kids off, so to speak, after school. And the kids would have something to do for a few hours after work. Say if the parent needs to go to the grocery store, or I don't know, maybe go get a new set of tires, really oil change, really any errands that would require them to drop their kids off for a little while. Birthday parties. Now, there's quite a range on those, given how many variables are included in a birthday party. So that range would be $200 to $500, simply just depending on how many kids, etc. And we'd also offer skating lessons with a teacher. These would be $20 per kid per class and $30 per adult per class. Now, a quick little SWOT analysis. So, the strengths of what we've covered so far is the fact that we offer both goods and services between the food and the skating services. Good customer relations, given the fact that this would be a local company and whatnot. Customer service and whatnot would be face to face at all times. There wouldn't be any AI or anything like that. And providing safe fun, as we went over with the waiver program and the requirement to wear pads and helmets at all times and whatnot. Now, the weaknesses. As I said a little bit ago, whenever we were going over the restaurant and my desire to target the majority of the market that's non-skaters, despite how many skaters I know are in this area, this is still a niche market at the end of the day, which is a potential weakness. The other weakness is the modest size. Now, I did say 8,000 square feet was a perfect size for a skating park of this size and in this area. But at the end of the day, 8,000 square feet is still somewhat of a modest size. And the other weakness would be the high startup cost, which is still not nearly as high as it could be if we would have to build a building completely from the ground up. But it's still going to be high, but we'll go over that in a minute. Now, the opportunities, obviously, no competitors in this area is a huge opportunity. The high traffic area, given the fact that it's the Huntington Mall location, the fact that it's close to skate stores such as Zoomies, which means the people who skate are already in that area to begin with, and the renovation rather than starting from scratch that we went over is another opportunity. Now, the threats. If Cool Cody's were to be successful, then there would no doubt be emerging competitors. Given the fact that Cool Cody's would be located near Huntington, I wouldn't be shocked that if it became super successful, somebody else would open another skate park, well, an indoor skate park, maybe in the Charleston area to target people from Charleston. Changing consumer behaviors, and what I mean by that is, I don't know, maybe a lot of the skaters in the area will start to get older, maybe do it less when they get families and have health issues and whatnot, or maybe they'll just fall out of love with skating. Hard to tell. And the only other potential threat would be negative media, given the fact that this is a local small company. Next slide. Marketing mix. I would have a grounding marketing approach focused on having a strong personal presence in the community, which would consist of social media, any new discounts, skating clips, advertisements, anything like that would be all over social media, particularly Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Cool Cody's would host skating events for the community as well as try to sponsor other events going on, such as maybe in the music scene in Huntington down at places like the Loud where they do live music. A loyalty program where solo purchases and membership milestones, like say somebody hits 1 year of membership, would accrue points and they could be redeemed for discounts and other things. And then word of mouth. Word of mouth is said to be the most effective marketing strategy. And we would obtain this by having local newspaper ads, short commercials on local news stations such as like Eyewitness, Channel 13, and radio ads to generate word of mouth among the locals and everybody. Now the startup cost. The big scary number there is the 1.1 million for the property itself. However, the renovations are only a modest $32,000, which I got that number by $4 per square foot. We have staffing costs here that in total add up to about roughly 30,000. This would cover the first 3 months of staffing to ensure that anybody that gets hired right off the bat would be able to be paid for the first 3 months. Advertising came out to about $10,000 roughly with estimates. Monthly utilities. The average cost of utilities for a building like this being used commercially is about $2.10 per square foot. And the first 3 months would be $16,800. And the restaurant inventory for the first 3 months, using the average cost of small casual restaurants in West Virginia, spending roughly $6,000 a month, would be $18,000, making the total startup cost about $1.2 million. Now, earning estimates. We have a whole lot of estimates here that you could pause the video and read and whatnot. But the big numbers that stand out. Utilities for the year after the starting setup 3 months would be about $150,000 here. The staffing for the year adds up to about $82,000 after the first 3 months, and the restaurant inventory for the year adds up to $54,000 after the first 3 months. Now, the estimated incomes based on national averages and West Virginia averages makes it to where this would be estimated to earn about $80,000 non-taxed, and that also doesn't include any solo events because those are hard to quantify. The total estimated net income after taking the 15.4 limited liability company taxes out comes out to $568,512. The total estimated net income after 5 years adds up to about $2.5 million. And net income meaning the taxes and everything have been taken out. Now, the return on investment. The two standout numbers there are after the first year, negative 52.8%. Yeah, I know that's a hard pill to swallow. However, year 2, that negative 52 goes all the way up to negative 12.34%. That is a 40% incline from year 1 to year 2. I think that's the main takeaway here from these numbers. And then jumping to year 3, we shoot up to 28.12%, finally getting into the positives. And then we go to 68, and then we go to 109, which makes the averages go from negative 52.8 in the first year annualized all the way up to 15.89% annualized after 5 years. So in summary, I believe Cool Cody's has the makings to be a groundbreaking company as both a business and as an investment due to the open market, not really having any real competitors in the area yet, the variety since we are both a restaurant and an indoor skating park, the community, since I believe our strong community approach and focus on customer relations would surely create a good reputation to stand on, and the snowball. And by snowball, I mean the thing we just talked about where the initial return on investment is bad, but then it would snowball after year 2 and quickly ramp up to become incredibly positive. So with all this being said, I don't think the question is whether or not you should invest. I think the question is whether or not you want to be the person who does invest, because somebody is going to invest.